On one side of the ring we have the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, the principal federal law enforcement agency in the United States. On the other side, we have the Federal Security Service, the FSB, the main domestic security and counterintelligence service of the Russian Federation. The FBI, with its headquarters nestled in the heart of Washington, D.C., was established in the early 20th century, in 1908 to be exact. It was born out of a need for a federal investigative force to combat the increasing number of federal crimes. Today, the FBI stands as a beacon of justice, its mission to protect and defend the United States, to uphold and enforce the criminal laws of the United States, and to provide leadership and criminal justice services to federal, state, municipal, and international agencies and partners. Across the globe, in the vast expanses of Russia, we find the FSB. The FSB, a successor to the KGB, came into existence in the post-Soviet era, in the year 1995. Functioning as Russia's primary security agency, the FSB's responsibilities encompass counterintelligence, internal and border security, counterterrorism, and surveillance. Despite being separated by continents, the FBI and the FSB share a common purpose: to maintain the security of their nations and safeguard their citizens. Both agencies wield significant powers within their jurisdictions and are structured to carry out complex, comprehensive investigations. However, the similarities, in many ways, end there. The FBI operates under the jurisdiction of the Department of Justice, its activities overseen by both the executive and judicial branches of the U.S. government. The FSB, on the other hand, operates directly under the purview of Russia's president, offering a stark contrast in the checks and balances applied to each agency. Additionally, while the FBI's jurisdiction is mainly domestic, it also has a presence in international territories, working in close collaboration with its global counterparts. Conversely, the FSB's operations are largely confined within the borders of Russia, its focus more inward. While both agencies are tasked with maintaining national security, their methods and scopes of operation vary greatly. The FBI and FSB, though similar in some respects, have very different origins. Let's start with the FBI. Born in the early 20th century, in July 1908 to be exact, the Federal Bureau of Investigation was initially created to address issues of corruption and antitrust laws. Its first agents, a humble team of just 34 people, were not even allowed to carry firearms or make arrests. As the United States grew and its societal issues became more complex, the FBI evolved along with it. During the Prohibition era, it took on gangsters and bootleggers, and in the wake of World War II, it shifted to focus on the threat of communism and espionage. Over time, the FBI's scope has broadened, now encompassing everything from terrorism to cybercrime, and it has become a leading force in American law enforcement. Now, let's hop across the globe to Russia and talk about the FSB. The Federal Security Service, or FSB, is a relatively young agency, officially formed in 1995. However, its roots stretch back much further to the notorious KGB of the Soviet Union. When the USSR dissolved in 1991, the KGB was disbanded and its duties were divided among several new agencies. The FSB was one of these, taking on responsibilities of counterintelligence, internal and border security. The FSB has undergone several changes since its inception. Initially, it was a direct successor to the KGB, carrying on much of its work. However, under the leadership of President Putin, a former KGB officer himself, the FSB has consolidated power and expanded its reach, a move that has attracted both praise and criticism. From these beginnings, both agencies have grown and adapted to face the evolving threats to their nations. As we move forward in our discussion, we'll see how these two agencies have evolved and how their roles in today's world continue to shape their actions, tactics, and overall mission. As times have changed, so too have the FBI and FSB. The FBI, born out of the Prohibition era, initially focused on tackling organized crime. The infamous gangsters of the 20s and 30s, such as Al Capone and John Dillinger, were toppled by the relentless pursuit of the Bureau. However, the landscape of the FBI's focus underwent a seismic shift at the dawn of the 21st century. The devastating attacks on September 11, 2001, marked a turning point for the FBI. The focus pivoted sharply from organized crime to counterterrorism. The FBI had to evolve, to adapt, and to expand its capabilities in intelligence gathering and analysis. The Bureau started working more closely with other intelligence agencies, both domestically and internationally, to fight the war on terror. In recent years, it has also been focusing on cybercrime, a new-age threat that knows no borders. On the other side of the globe, the FSB, the successor to the KGB, has also undergone significant changes. Under the leadership of Vladimir Putin, a former FSB officer himself, the agency has seen a marked expansion of its powers. The FSB is not just a domestic security service anymore. It has evolved into a multifaceted agency with broad powers and responsibilities, including counterintelligence, border security, and even some aspects of foreign intelligence. This expansion of powers has, however, sparked concerns about the concentration of power and potential for abuse. Critics have voiced concerns about the lack of checks and balances, and the potential for the agency to be used as a tool for political repression. The evolution of the FBI and FSB is a testament to the changing nature of threats in the global security landscape. From battling gangsters and spies in the 20th century, to countering terrorism and cyber threats in the 21st, these agencies have had to continuously adapt and evolve. The evolution of these agencies reflects the changing landscape of global security threats. In the modern world, the roles of the FBI and FSB have become even more complex and intertwined. Our digital age has opened up new frontiers for both crime and law enforcement. The FBI, America's top domestic security service, now grapples with cybercrime, a realm that includes everything from online fraud to sophisticated hacking operations. It's not just about chasing bank robbers anymore. Now, the FBI is tasked with tracking down criminals who can steal millions without ever leaving their computer chair. On the other side of the globe, Russia's FSB faces a similar challenge. Their mandate has expanded to include protecting Russia's information space and battling cyber threats. The FSB is often seen as a key player in the cyber arena, both defensively and, as some would argue, offensively. But it's not just about cybercrime. Terrorism, both domestic and international, remains a key focus for both agencies. The FBI works tirelessly to prevent terrorist attacks on U.S. soil, while the FSB is heavily invested in combating extremist groups that threaten Russian security. International relations too play a major role in the operations of both the FBI and FSB. The geopolitical landscape is a chessboard, and these organizations are key pieces, maneuvering amidst a complex web of alliances, hostilities, and mutual interests. The FBI and FSB operate in a world where crime, intelligence, and politics intersect. The stakes are high, and the challenges are immense. Every day, these agencies must navigate through a labyrinth of cyber threats, terrorist plots, political intrigues, and more. In this era of globalization, their missions have taken on a new dimension. Their operations are not limited to their own borders. They reach out across the world, fighting crime and defending their nations in a global landscape that is constantly evolving. As our world becomes more interconnected, the challenges facing these agencies become more complex. But rest assured, the FBI and FSB, each in their own way, continue to adapt and respond to these challenges, striving to maintain security and order in an increasingly chaotic world. So, how do the FBI and FSB stack up against each other? When we look at the FBI, we see a federal agency that operates under the United States Department of Justice. It's a civilian entity with jurisdiction across the nation, and its scope is broad, handling everything from counterterrorism to cybercrime, organized crime to public corruption. The FBI is known for its rigorous training, stringent background checks, and a strong emphasis on law and ethics. It operates under strict guidelines and is accountable to the U.S. government and its citizens. On the other hand, the FSB, Russia's Federal Security Service, operates more like a state security agency. It's a military-style organization with a focus on internal security, counterintelligence, and counterterrorism. The FSB has enormous power within Russia, with the ability to arrest and detain individuals, conduct searches and surveillance, and even engage in military operations. The FSB is somewhat shrouded in secrecy, and its operations are often less transparent than those of the FBI. In terms of structure, the FBI is divided into divisions and offices, each with a specific focus, such as criminal, cyber, or counterintelligence. The FSB, however, is more centralized, with its activities coordinated from its headquarters in Moscow. When it comes to challenges, both the FBI and FSB face a rapidly changing world, with evolving threats and increasing cyber warfare. For the FBI, maintaining public trust and navigating political pressures are ongoing concerns. For the FSB, managing its extensive powers and maintaining national security in a complex geopolitical landscape are significant challenges. So while the FBI and FSB have distinct structures, roles, and powers, they face similar challenges in their quest to protect their nations. They may operate in different spheres and under different mandates, but their fundamental mission is the same: to safeguard the people and uphold the law. While the FBI and FSB may have different origins and methods, their shared goal is clear: to protect the security and interests of their nations.